I'll soon be free from earthly trial. There's spotty red in the old churchyard. I'll drop this cross of self-denial and go singing home to God. I'm going there to see my Savior. I'm going there, no more to roam. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over home. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over home. I'm just a going.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Last of Us 2 review. My name is Travis. I am here, as always, in the reviews with VTM.
Here too. So it's just us.
It's just you. We're the Last of Us, man.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be an interesting one. We're gonna start off. This is gonna be
a non-spoiler review.
This is a non-spoiler review. We are going to do a separate spoiler discussion video that'll come out. This video will be out first, and then whether it's the next day or whenever I can get out the spoiler discussion, then that will be up at a later date. But this will be a non-spoiler review. We're going to keep it as non-spoiler as possible. I swear to fucking God. And if anybody slips up, I'll edit it out. I've done it before.
Spoilers. You get to play the game.
You do get to play the game, unless we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, so let's start off brief summary, because the story of this game on its own is a spoiler. So basically, all we can say is that Ellie is sent on this journey to try to find people. And that's basically all we can say.
Well,
you want to try to do it better, do it better.
The game picks up a certain amount of years after the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we all played the first game. We all loved the first game. And yeah, like Ellie and Joel are set in the town of Jackson, even though it doesn't. Like, we never got to see Jackson in the first game, so it's kind of cool to get to see that.
Yeah.
And they just live their lives.
It was so little. We saw so little of it that I thought they built all that since the first game.
Honestly, I did too. And then I was like, oh, wait, they were just at a factory. So
yeah, I was like, man, these people have been working.
Yeah. But yeah, like, some things happen, and you get to go out on an adventure.
On an adventure. Like every game, some things happen, and then you go out on an adventure.
Yeah, you get to go on an adventure. You get to kill some
infected
cordyceps, I believe they're called.
Cordyceps, real thing, by the way. If anybody doesn't know that, you should know that. But if you don't know that, real thing. Terrifying. It happens to insects.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
So basically, all The Last of Us did was they took that concept and they said, "On to humans we go."
Science, bitch.
Yeah. So that's basically that. So I'll let you take the lead on this, and like I said, we're not going to spoil anything. But VTM as a whole, what did you think of the story?
As a whole, now I'm gonna start off by saying I did like the story. I do have my problems with it, and that only lies in kind of the execution of the story, like how it's laid out for people, or for us. I guess we're people. That and something I really don't like, but
We can't
that's
talk about
a
it.
conversation.
We can't talk about it. Don't you do it?
Yeah, I can't talk.
You were leaning. I heard you. So that's his. So on my side of it, to put it bluntly, I thought it was a masterpiece. There were things that happened in the game with people that I didn't think I would like, but then I liked it. They made you care about characters you didn't think you would care about. At least for me. It's not a spoiler.
Kind of is.
Not a spoiler. I hated Henry in the first game.
You hate Henry? Hold on. What?
Not the whole time, just at points.
What?
He left
After
you for
Joel punched him in the face and stopped?
He left him for dead. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
How dare you? How do you not remember that?
I remember it, but
I
would have done the same thing.
You pushed it out of your memory so you can argue with me? Is that what we're doing here?
I would have done the same thing if I were Henry.
I would have. Well, I mean, Sam was not a fighter, but
no. Sam is not a fighter.
Not a fighter. Based on my last thing, Henry doesn't know how to stealth either, because that motherfucker was like, "You get left, I'll get right," and then I got left, and he got nobody. I'm like, I don't even know that could happen. But
anyways, we are getting sidetracked.
We are getting sidetracked. Last of Us 1. Go play them both, actually.
Yeah. Play both of these games.
Play both of them. It's just there are things that happen that I enjoyed way more than other people.
I did not enjoy it as much as Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if it was laid out differently, I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah,
because this game is long. Okay,
it's about.
I think that's kind of my main problem. Like, it feels like 2 games put together.
Mm-hmm. I played it. I beat it in 27 hours.
I did not see what time I beat it then. I probably beat it in around the same time because me and you finished around the same time.
I beat it in 27 hours. I didn't feel like the game was too long. If anything, I could have kept playing.
I felt like it was too long.
Sure, there were some sections that there was.
It was the structuring that made it feel so long.
There were some sections that might have dragged, but I mean, that was the same issue I had with certain sections of God of War too.
Yeah.
It is something that happens. But to me, it doesn't affect the overall story. I like the placement of it, and we talked about this, and we'll talk about it more in the spoiler discussion. I like the placement of all of it because, and if you placed it differently or the way you thought they should place it, I don't personally think it would work as well for me.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, right? Everybody has their different tastes.
Everyone has their own takes and opinions. Like,
yeah, and
take them with if you value a person's opinion, then good for you. Like, but at the end of the day, you won't know how bad it is until you try it. Like, I don't know. I get that how people can not like this game. I do understand it. Like, part of me is there with them, raging. Like, fuck this game, hate it all. Like, fuck Naughty Dog. But the other part of me that's like looks at games like, I don't know, critically. Like, I look at this game and I see a good game. I look at everything that's laid out in front of me. It's like, I feel like the story's weak. Like, again, they could take the same things and just rearrange it, and I'd be completely 100% on board. Masterpiece.
To me, they take everything. You know, the story is so objective.
Yeah.
But they improve I don't think me personally, I thought the story was great, and in terms of everything else, they improved on. They took what The Last of Us 1 did, and they improved on literally everything.
Yeah, so like combat and all that, like everything is the same but with added stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything moves better.
Yeah.
Like everything operates better. They create a jump button for us finally.
Oh, thank God. No, you could jump in the first game, but Joel jumped like an inch.
Wow.
That was like, I was like, oh my God. Like, that was the first thing I noticed is you can get that running jump.
And do your best Solid Snake impression.
It actually looks like you're running and jumping. I mean, Joel would like jump in place and somehow he'd make it. But he was old.
I do like the animation of going from a run into a prone position.
just plopping on the ground.
Yeah.
It was like, it made me laugh.
It feels like it's urgent.
Yeah, it does make it look like it's urgent. It did make me laugh every time.
Through this game, though, like you'll be going prone in grass all the time.
Yeah, because you have to.
And one thing I do like that they do in this game is you have to aim through grass. A lot of like Metal Gear Solid does not like it does that to an extent, but they make grass like kind of see through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where like this game, like no, grass is in your face. Mm-hmm. Like you can't, like you can barely see anything. And I kind of like that. It's a weird little detail that I like.
Yeah. So like Uncharted 4, and like Lost Legacy and Horizon Zero Dawn, it has that cover system where you can crouch in the grass. It also you can also go prone or belly, military crawl. In the grass also, but you are not invisible at all times. As the enemy gets closer, he can still see you, so it's more realistic to where when you're in the grass, you're not just straight up invisible at all times.
Yeah,
they can actually see you, which is nerve-wracking, but I like more because it's more realistic.
Yeah, it definitely is more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the aiming in this game is a little harder, but that's to make it more realistic. Like aiming isn't easy, so like they kind of give weight to the gun almost.
Mm-hmm. You have bullet drop.
Yeah, like you have severe bullet drop. The gun is like, well, I guess you could maybe fix that in options with your aiming, but like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the aiming was like very slow.
Yeah.
Like you had to collect yourself to be able to shoot. And like that's something that they even say, like moving around while aiming will like mess up your aiming.
Yeah. And one of the things I like, right, and I found myself in trouble a lot of times. They'll shoot, enemy will shoot you or whatever, and you'll get knocked back or whatever, and just being able to shoot people from your back.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, well, if I get up here, I'm fucked. So then you can shoot from the ground. I mean, I killed so many people that way.
Yeah,
just shooting people off my back because I was in trouble, and I just love that every aspect of being able. We saw this in the last E3 before Sony stopped doing E3. That last trailer of Ellie shimmying in between like shelves or walls. You could do that. I mean, you can get away from enemies and get behind them by doing that.
Yeah, like for some reason, like humans can't shimmy through. At least I never noticed them doing that.
Yeah. No, they can. They can.
Oh, they can. I never noticed them do it. Like they would always stop at the shimmy.
I watched them.
Be like, oh, I lost them.
I watched a couple do them at one point.
But like the zombies, they would do that. So like if you're running from zombies, they will follow you through the shimmy.
Hey, let's not do this today. Infected.
Yeah.
There's no zombies in this game.
Okay, sorry. Infected.
I slip up too, and I hate people who do that.
The Cordies.
The Cordies. So a lot of your they have it's a lot of the same stuff, but I feel they added. I mean, it's a longer game, so it makes sense. They added even more crafting in the game. A lot of it's the same. Increased health and listening mode, movement speed, and you have like once you get an entire thing filled up, like an entire like section of that of like Survivor. Like so, there's a section for Survivor. You get to the bottom of that, and then there's that Endure, which allows you to take damage that would otherwise be lethal, but you're able to survive it. It's kind of like I don't think you've ever played Evil Within 2, have you? If you did, it's the Grit and Barrett that is in that game.
Yeah.
I don't think you never played Evil Within 2, right?
No.
Too
I don't
scary.
play scary games.
It's too scary for you little. Never mind.
I don't play scary games. I get too into games, so like if it's in my face, it's like I'm there. Okay. I can't handle it.
Now there
scary
are
movies though. I'm always there for that.
Now there are some things not in this game that was in the first game, like your nail bombs, but it gets replaced with the bombs you place on the floor and the stun grenades or whatever.
Yeah, you get like stun grenades that can turn into smoke bombs.
Mm-hmm. And
then
this,
you have trap.
Yeah.
Mines? Trap mines?
Trap
or
mines.
Just mines?
I think they're trap mines. And one other thing that I'll cover, because I don't want to go too in depth on it, is the ability to craft a silencer that you can put on your gun.
I'm torn on the silencer.
Go ahead.
Because I come from a long line of Metal Gear Solid fans, and the silencers in that game normally gave you enough use for like 2 clips. Where like the silencers in this game, like you can't even get through a full clip without it being useless.
It's 3 shots.
3 shots, or if you
upgrade is 5.
5.
Yeah.
Which you can't even get through a full magazine.
Yeah, but this is crafting a makeshift silencer. This isn't putting an actual silencer on the gun.
Yeah, true.
And to be fair, some of the weapons that break in the amount of time it hits, it wouldn't break that fast in real life either. It's just a game thing. But you make a silencer out of a rag and some tape, and I don't know how many shots it'll actually silence the gun for.
Yeah.
But another thing, just like the first game, none of this stuff is new. Is finding the training manuals, which allows you to further upgrade things. In this instance, it adds another
training
section.
manuals are different in this game.
It is different in this game.
In the previous game, it would just like
give you an ability,
boost healing effects,
Yep.
or make shivs last longer.
Yep.
In this, like it opens up kind of skill. I would say
a new skill
categories.
A new skill category.
Skill categories.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have stealth, like you can have a stealth category, a munitions category, so like bombs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll just slightly raise your stuff, like how many bombs you can craft at a single time.
Yeah, and as long as you're looking everywhere, you'll really have no issue finding all the manuals.
No, like that's something else I kind of wanted to touch on. This game is kind of on the easier side for finding a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it really depends.
Like I've played through the first one maybe 10 times, and I have not found everything. Where like this one, I've played through once, and I found a majority of everything. Like I found like they have lockers or safes in this game. I found those. Like they kind of give you the manuals if you slightly look around. Mm-hmm. I found all the manuals.
But you found all the manuals in the first game if you slightly look around.
Yeah, but like, even like with like collectibles, I've pretty much like not gotten. I've gotten most of them except for maybe 1 or 2 in each level. I want
to preface this by saying, for me, collectibles being slightly easier doesn't affect a game for me at all.
No, I'm just saying like the difficulty in finding these things is easier than the first.
After all the years Naughty Dog fucked with me with these goddamn collectibles, is about goddamn time.
They went easy in this game. It's like you played Uncharted, and
this is a longer game too. They didn't have as much time to fuck with us.
Well, and they don't have multiplayer, so
yeah. So that is that. So the way you upgrade these, whether it's training manuals or all that, is the same way you do in the first game you found supplements. You actually do that same thing, and you use these supplements like the first game to upgrade your character.
Yeah.
In certain ways. I don't remember a lot, and before it just looked like in the first game it was just like a big thing that showed that there was a pill. In this game, you can actually see them picking up pills. I don't know if it was like that in the first game or not. I just remember the huge pill thing.
It would just normally be like pill bottles in the first one.
Was it?
But they also gave you more. Like they would normally give you like 5 or 10 or even like 20.
It's one of them games where in the first game, you said in the first game they give you a lot more.
Yeah.
I think
in the first game they give you a lot more.
I think in this game they probably give you less too, because they want you to look.
Play through again.
Yeah, that, and I feel like they want you to look around too. I mean, if you were getting pills at 20 a pop and they're everywhere and you're looking everywhere, you're going to be OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they want you to play through again. And I probably will at some point, New Game Plus, as long as the save I just loaded up didn't overwrite that.
The game, so I believe you could just New Game Plus anyways.
New Game Plus. So like the first game, you can find letters from survivors or people that were there who are dead now.
Read the damn letters, people. They add so much to the story.
They always have.
I know, but like Last of Us series, like read the damn letters. They're great. Like, especially if you can find some that are like tied together.
Yeah. The line of letters, kind of like the ish letters in the first game.
Yeah, like the ish letters. Those are great. They kind of made me cry.
Yeah, it's like that story within a story, but it's just reading it.
It makes the world feel lived in. Makes it feel bigger. Like these people are going through it. Somehow they have enough time to write letters.
Hey man, how did the people in Doom have time to make those floating fire letters? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But it's there. It's a video game.
I know.
It's
a video game.
Yeah. It's like, Dear Diary. Somebody's shooting at him. Dear Diary.
I'm being shot at.
Yeah. But yeah, read all these, and sometimes you need to read them to even continue the fucking story.
Yeah, or like even some of them will have codes on them for saves.
Yeah.
Which you actually have to remember. They just don't enter it in. Like in the first game. Like they had safes in the first game, but like once you found the letter, it would just be automatic.
Yeah. And one of the things, back to the training manuals really quick, what I love about them is you like have, most of the time you're just literally finding like real magazines.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Hunter's Digest or whatever the fuck it was. It's like you're finding a real magazine. You're just like, I'm gonna learn something from this. Like Ellie's taking time to fucking read it. But it's a small thing. So you also, just like the first game, have your workbench. And I love the workbench in this because every time you upgrade something, like everything you upgrade has like a different animation.
Yeah. It's great. I like it. Small details
that I love, whether it's making a gun more powerful, which there is, well, we can talk about that in the spoilers, but making a weapon more powerful.
There's a really powerful small detail that I want to talk in spoilers.
Yeah,
I'll have to remember to come back to it.
Yeah. Or giving a gun a bigger clip. Some of the same stuff you had in the first game, except they have these little animations that they do every time. You pick a gun, they pull it out, they take it apart, and then when you hit an upgrade, there's a different animation for each upgrade, and it's really cool. I really, really enjoyed that. So let's talk about the infected. VTM, you want to start with this one?
They are all better.
They are all better.
Like, they were kind of nothing in the first game.
Mm-hmm. Other than the clickers. I mean, the clickers were kind of nothing too.
Even the clickers were kind of nothing because you could shoot them in the head once, but they'd be dead.
In a first playthrough, though, it's a little different. We've both played the game. We're probably in the double digits, so they don't affect us at all.
Even in the first playthrough, like basic bitch weapons.
Well, compared to
they would go down in one hit. In this game, they take bullets. Like in the first game, they were good about making you waste your bullets on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Where like in this game, they're good about wasting your bullets on one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless you get a headshot on a runner.
Yeah. That's the only time, like, that's the only real time something will go down in one hit.
Yeah.
Is a headshot on a runner. Even the clickers, like, for me, it took, like, 2 shots from a pistol for them to go down.
Two
because
headshots.
the pistol has a silencer.
Mm-hmm. One headshot will stagger them.
Yeah.
And then 2 headshots will take them down. But it makes sense because you're pretty much shooting that hard outer shell that's been grown forever. So it makes sense they wouldn't just die from one headshot. Plus, they're not alive.
Stalkers, they got an upgrade.
Yeah.
Well-deserved upgrade. Like, I'm so proud of the glow up they had.
Yeah, because we were having this conversation before we were having it right before we recorded. I did not remember them in the first game.
Yeah.
Like, that's how, like, subtle they were.
They are in one section of the game. It's the sewer level with Henry and Sam.
When Joel and Sam are stuck. I mean, and when you explained it, I remembered, but yeah.
And literally you can just walk right into the beginning of the section and, like, wait for one to rush you, start shooting at it, and then they would all rush you. Like, they would all eventually start coming to you. Like, you don't even have to hunt them. Where in this, it's like you're both hunting each other. And you're just waiting to see, like, if you'll go first or if they'll go first.
Yeah. So these enemies, the Stalkers,
and they will swarm your back. Like, they are aiming for your back. Like, they're not coming at you from the front most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some people would consider this spoilers, but we've allowed ourselves to talk about things that were in the first game that are in this game. Because if you haven't played the first game, you shouldn't be watching this review anyway.
Yeah, if you played the first game and you've made it this far, maybe pick up this game. Like,
no, pick
or
it up.
Wait for a spoiler review. We'll just spoil it all. Like, just go watch that,
or
watch this, then watch that, then buy the game of your own discretion,
or pick up the fucking game.
Yeah.
Just do it and then watch the spoiler discussion.
Do it. Push yourself to the end. You'll want to.
Yeah. Or maybe.
Do it.
But
do the thing.
The Stalkers, when you're using your listening mode, they hide, like VTM said, and you cannot see them with your listening mode.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're playing as Ellie in the first game and you're trying to kill... I can't even remember his name. The cannibal guy. The leader. David. It's when it's like when you're fighting him and he can't be seen in listening mode. That's pretty much what this is like.
Yeah, but that's just one section of that boss fight. I think he really walks around until that third part of that fight.
It's the second part. It's like right after you stab him.
No, it's the second part because he runs and hides in the third part. Because you have to basically get behind him and he runs. It could be both the second and third part, but I think he really goes full in on the third part. Because the third part,
but in the third part, it's like he's cranked up to 10 and he can hear like everything.
Yeah, he thinks he's cool. Fuck you, Nolan North. Anyway,
Stalkers, they're great in this game.
They are. The Stalkers are really good. It really adds if you're not playing it like VTM.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
You play it like the game wants you to play it. It is really suspenseful. Like I kind of I'm like cool as a cucumber over here, other than when I feel like screaming for fun.
I think I have a clip of you screaming. Actually,
there may be a clip. But I think that they do a really good job of adding that suspense to it. Everything about the infected in this game, even the runners,
everything about the infected are better.
Yeah. Even the runners, when they run up to you, you have to mash square to get away from the runners. Like the intensity that they're coming at you.
One thing I don't like about any of the infected are the sound designs, because like for some reason they're really loud.
Yeah.
Like they're loud enough that seems like they're right next to you, even though they're like really far away. And I don't know why the sound quality is like that. Like,
Mhm.
I thought it was my TV at first. Like, why is my TV so loud? But
Mhm.
no, it's just them.
Are you ready for this?
Uh.
So, for me, it's probably for me, and I know what VTM's saying because I heard it too. But in terms of the sound quality itself, it's probably one of the best sound qualities I played in the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, they sounded great. I just felt like they sounded too loud.
and
For where they would be positioned.
I only noticed it in that one section that we can't talk about. We'll talk about it. If you want to know what section we're talking about, spoilers.
Spoilers.
But
Or play the
game and then come to
Yeah.
the spoilers. What are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you doing here? But
we're talking about practice.
so I love, and I know it's the music is kind of the same as the first game, but they added some. I just really love the music in this game. I don't know. I think it's like it's the same guy that does the entire thing, but
yeah.
I feel like even with it seeming like a lot of it sounds basically the same, they still do such a great job to add that sound design and making it look good. Like when it's really intense, like that intense music that plays.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like dun dun. Well, I just made it sound like it was like a fucking terrible commercial, but you know what I mean. Play the game and you'll know. But so the music I really love in this game. The graphics are, I mean, that goes without fucking saying. Naughty Dog, they know all else graphics, and these graphics are top quality.
Yeah, these graphics are great.
I mean, you knew they were going to be because I mean, the Last of Us 1 was the best looking PS3 game. So it's almost like they always, when they release a game right at the end of the life cycle of a console, they always push that console to its limits.
Yeah.
And without breaking the console, some games can't do that, and it doesn't look anywhere near close to this.
They do lock this game at a constant 30 frames per second, if that matters for people.
It looks so good. I mean, I didn't even notice. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's something I heard at the beginning.
Because
like that was an option in the first game of like locking it at 30.
Yeah. I feel like people do get wrapped up in that a little much because I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything weird.
Yeah. It seemed pretty smooth. It looked better than most games I've played on console, if not all games. This may be the pinnacle of graphics. I don't know.
I don't know. I will say I think it might just be the colors that they used. I feel like Uncharted 4 looked a little better.
Well, you were in different.
It might be the colors.
You were in more locations with different lighting.
That's true.
But I think it's. I don't know.
But this game is very pretty.
Yeah. And I guess for me in the end, I played this game and I beat this game, and I walked away. You know, this game made me think. Like I literally took 2 days on this game to think about it, because it is a game that kind of makes you think about things. You know, do you agree with this or whatever? But I just came away really enjoying the game overall.
Yeah.
That's me personally. Like I said, this review is a tough one for us because really the game on its own is a spoiler.
Yes. This game starts running right off the get-go.
Yeah. So there's really not much we can talk about. We usually get into the story a little deeper. We just can't do that here. We decided that we didn't really want to do that. So we're doing a separate spoiler discussion instead of putting it in here. That way you guys can watch this. And maybe we've already said something that pissed you off, but I feel like we've done okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the game? Non-spoiler?
Fuck Seattle? I don't know.
Fuck Seattle. The game takes place in Seattle.
We all know that. Naughty Dog has spoiled that.
Yeah. So let's move into final scores. VTM.
I have hum and hawed for like 3 days straight.
You need a
And
few
for
minutes?
me, I'm a sit at 7.
Okay.
It's the story. It's the story things that like really like. I don't know. I'd have to get to it in spoilers. But yeah, I'm a sit at 7. It was almost an 8, but the story stuff really, really grinds my gears.
Okay. So basically the stuff I already know what VTM thinks negatively about it, and I personally don't agree with any of it. So I think this game, and I said this at the beginning, I think it is a masterpiece. So I think it's better than the first game. That is, I mean, I guess that's kind of,
Use
you
your
know,
words wisely. I will fight you.
I'm not ready to fight you. I mean, it is better. You don't have to like this. You don't have to like the story as much, but everything else in the game is so
Everything else is better.
is so goddamn good that in an overall experience, to me, it may be a better game. Not story wise, maybe. That should be just.
That's why I say the story is like putting it at a 7.
No,
for me. Like,
I think.
I if anything 8. Like I would go 8, but like the
Now-
story really kills me. Like,
Now, I'm not saying that I don't like the story more. What I'm saying is I think objectively, if you don't like this story as much, fine. But everything else, there's not really an argument, and I'll fight you in the street if you try to tell me
No,
anything from the first game.
I will
outside-
not argue on anything else. It's just a story. I would
Yeah.
argue.
So I don't think that. There's
Yeah.
things that happen. I understand. We'll talk about it in spoilers. I think, like I said, I think this game is a masterpiece, and I used to throw that word around way looser than I do now. I don't do that. The last time I said
one Justice a masterpiece.
the last the last game I've called a masterpiece was God of War, and it fucking is. But I feel like this game does so much. It makes us dig deeper than what people are actually fucking realizing. I've been watching things and looking at background stuff, and like I said, we'll talk about it. But I just think this game does a lot more into psyche than about things that happen in the game. It's really hard to not talk about it. It's really hard. So I'm just going to get moving. I am going to give this game VTM, close your ears.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this game a 10. I love it. I don't falter because I think I already pretty much know most of the negatives VTM has, and we'll get into that. And I don't always agree. I don't agree with all of them, and
That's okay.
and that's how it is. I don't agree with.
It's just me personally.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody think now. I do want to get into something later, but I think that for me, this game hit all the boxes. The game ended. When the game ended, I was just kind of like, in my head, I just loved it that much. And whether somebody else loves it that much or not, that's your call, right? This is one of those games that's very subjective.
Wait a minute. Can I change my score?
For what?
The ending's clouding my judgment. I would put this game at an 8. In all honesty, 8. The ending's clouding my judgment.
Okay. So he
sorry.
changes his mind. How dare you?
I'm sorry. I was sitting here thinking like, man, I feel like 7's too low.
Yeah, especially when it's a 10. I loved everything about this game. There's some things we can talk about, but there was nothing that ran into me that made me go, I hate this game, right? There's some parts we talked about a little bit that may have drug a little bit, but I don't think it drug enough to hurt the game for me. I never got taken out of the game, me personally. It was this journey that I'm happy I went on, and I'm happy that I'm happy that Naughty Dog made it, even if a lot of people didn't agree with it. Even if a lot of people are having these leaks drive their score before they even play the game. But I would
most likely you still won't like it.
Yeah. But I would just go out and play this game, regardless of what people are saying. If you're a fan of The Last of Us 1, maybe you'll play The Last of Us 2 and hate it, but give the game a chance, because VTM gave the game an 8. He didn't like it as much as I did, but they're two people. We're two of the biggest Last of Us fans you can
where
find.
credit is due. Like
Yeah.
the technical stuff that they put in this game is worth it. Like
Yeah.
you can't, like you can dislike the story, fine,
Mhm.
but you can't
Can't
give
disregard
it
everything.
a 3 when the game is great. Like when the gameplay and all that is great. Like
Mhm.
your 3 only represents what you think of the story.
Yeah, and you have to review a game as a whole. You can't review a game in parts and make it your whole thing. Sure, it's a story game, but there's more to these story games than just story. Especially when you have the mechanics that they added, everything they did in the first game they did again, but they improved it, like immensely. Making everything,
But
the sound design, the music, the graphics, which graphics aren't everything, but when you combine it with the story, I think it's great personally. But I don't know.
but also like we're looking at like critics, like reviewers and all that. Like I don't know. I've always been someone who's been very critical over things, so like I go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Mhm.
But some people just they want to sit down, play a game for the story, like zone out. Like they want to play it like a movie. Like they want their movie to be interactable.
And I
It's like,
understand that.
That's okay.
I understand that. But if you're going to do that, don't put your fucking review on Metacritic. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't-
I come from a point of make sure you just give the game a full game a chance. Don't give a game a 0 because you read some leaks. Give the full game a chance because I really do think more so than VTM, but even VTM will say that if they did things a little bit different, it's close to a masterpiece quality, and I think it is a masterpiece. It's not a terrible game.
And like I said, they could still have everything that's in the game. Like they could take the same stuff,
Mhm.
just switch it around a little,
Mhm.
and it'd be a 10 out of 10 for me. But it's just the way they laid it out. It's an 8.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a bad story. It's just the execution. Like that's why I say realistically, they could keep everything. Except for one part, but that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different me thing.
Yes,
But like they could take everything and keep it in the game, and it would be a lot better for me.
And we'll get, like I said, we've said a few times, we'll get into this in the spoiler discussion, and
So be there.
And be there. But I think you have anything else to add?
Did I already say fuck Seattle?
You did say fuck Seattle.
Okay, I'd like to reiterate, fuck Seattle. Like, it's terrible in this game.
Man.
Seattle's a whole character in this game. Like,
it's hard out there for.
If you live in Seattle right now, you need to boycott this game.
No, don't do that. Play the game because you're going to see landmarks. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again in the spoiler discussion that we are going to record fucking instantly. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.
Love you.